Welcome to Coffee and Conversations for Men, a podcast where two men, Jay Guy
and Brian Jones,
sit down to share their stories of struggles, successes, and everything in between as they navigate the ups and downs of life.
Each episode will dive into topics men are curious about as it relates to their fitness, nutrition, relationships, mental health, and being a lifelong learner. If you're looking for real talk, honest discussions, and practical advice, you're in the right place.
So grab your coffee
Or your favorite drink.
and sit back and join us for some candid conversations that will inspire, motivate, and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. So let's get started. You ever catch yourself trying to control everything? Other people, outcomes, how life should go, and yet you still feel stuck?
You ever try to fix somebody else's life and somehow make your own more stressful? Yeah, that might be the problem.
That's why in this episode, we're diving into Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory book. And this one hits hard with one simple idea. You might be the problem.
Because maybe the issue isn't them. Maybe it's how much control you're trying to hold on to. Controlling people is exhausting. And no matter how good your advice is, you can't control people.
We get into why comparison is quietly wrecking your confidence, and why making friends as an adult, well, that's harder than assembling furniture from IKEA without any instructions.
And here's the kicker. The more you rescue people, the more you might actually be holding them back.
This isn't about checking out. This isn't about not caring. This is definitely not about giving up either.
It's about focusing on what's actually yours to own. Your mindset, your energy, your choices, your time, your life.
Yeah, less control, less overthinking, and less trying to save everyone. And more clarity, more ownership, and more you.
So grab your coffee, go for a run, hit the gym, walk the dog, tune in on your commute, or just pull up a chair. But let's have this real conversation.
Because sometimes the most powerful move that you can make is just this. Let them.
And then let me by choosing yourself.
Yeah.
This is Coffee and Conversations for Men.
Cheers.
What's in your cup today?
Well, I cannot wait to tell you what's in my cup. Tonight, I'm drinking Jacques Coffee Connections. So this is a coffee we got when we were in Universal just recently on family vacation. And we were in this like a bakery. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the Chocolate Emporium.
Okay.
Two-person Emporium. Yep. And what a place, man. The desserts were amazing. It was so good. Meal was great. The dessert was great. And then, of course, they had coffee.
Oh, of course.
So I just had to sample. So tonight, I'm drinking Coca Mocha Twist.
Okay.
Good. It is so good. It's
good.
Yeah. How about yourself? What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I've been promoting Cantor Coffee in Sunderland.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 3 years old, this business.
Yeah.
And a young woman and her husband started it. She has a little baby now. They have this trailer, and you go up and you get your coffee, and it's brewed there. Mm-hmm. She's got some great help that's there, and she's opened another business in Cannington. But she came out with the summer menu. So it's espresso based. There's a coffee and cream latte. There's a banana nut latte, a cinnamon bun latte, a peaches and cream latte.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but she also has Cantor Classics, which is the caramel latte, the s'mores latte, and the Biscoff
cookie latte.
What
the hell is that?
So I know. So but basically, it's double shots of espresso, and then the way they foam the milk and add some sweetener too. So, and she has amazing desserts there.
Yeah,
so I said I would be promoting it. Way to go.
Uh-huh.
And cheers to Paige, cheers to Olivia, who are doing a sensational job in Sunderland with this coffee business.
Small business.
And I love it. Yeah, it's open from Thursday to Sunday, mm-hmm. and certain times and through the summer. Mm-hmm. And if you're heading up Highway 12, going through Sunderland on your right-hand side, north of the traffic light, you're going to hit the trailer, and you got to stop in and say hello. Say Brian sent you. Coffee and Conversation sent you.
Yeah,
okay.
Brian sent you.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So Brian, this is, I guess this would be our why segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this episode on the Let Them Theory?
Well, I know that for the both of us, we have both read this book.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to the audiobook twice now. Actually, I've listened to it probably 6 times now. Before doing the research, I listened to it twice. And then when we just chose to do this for this episode, I went through it chapter by chapter, just dissecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So probably at least half a dozen times now.
It was interesting. I saw the book
Mm-hmm.
in the bookstore.
Yeah.
And I saw some Instagram posts about it.
Yeah.
And I subscribed to Mel Robbins' podcast. However, I didn't know how popular it was until she started talking about all of these people around the world putting tattoos on that say, let them.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this woman's onto something.
Yeah. Yeah. And it honestly, when she was on her podcast and she just did this little blurb of the let them theory, and it literally blew up overnight.
Right.
It was, and you can't plan that. You can't
not
predict
at all.
that at all. And it just blew up overnight, but it blew up, and it makes sense why it blew up, because it is so valuable for everybody's day-to-day life
Mm-hmm.
and what we're all dealing with. And honestly, it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just to sit back and let them is like,
but it's the second part. Let me.
That's just
the follow-up.
That's what's missing from most, right? And it was for me as well. And when I started diving into the book, when I read it the first time, and she includes the very important part is the let them part. And I was like, oh, that's what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just the light bulb going on and being like, okay, so there's a second part to this, a very valuable part to this.
So let's tell our listeners how we're going to structure this episode.
Yeah.
So we went through the book
Mm-hmm.
individually, and I picked chapters that really resonated with me, that were kind of a slap in the face for me and a wake-up call. And then I go, oh my gosh, I wish I knew this when I was younger. And you did the same.
Correct.
So we came together. You told me what chapters interest you. I told you what chapters interest me. Mm-hmm. And then we had some chapters that were combined.
That's right.
So we're just going to go through those chapters, highlight them, talk about some of the research, talk about how it applies to our own life.
Yeah, and how we've applied it to our lives.
Right.
And some of the successes that we've had based off of that information that we've
and also some of the failures we had prior to reading her book.
Oh God, yeah.
That if we could change the clock, turn it back, and relive those moments with the let them theory, we would have been much more successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it seems fitting that we're sitting here in our let them
t-shirts. Now we didn't get her book cover because that's copyright. We know that, Mal. However, we want to make sure that, like the hundreds and thousands of people around the world who have tattoos, let them. We've got these t-shirts.
Yes, with a little quote
on the back. Okay, I'll read yours.
We're
quote at the back. Okay. Jay, your quote says, "If you have the courage to start, you have the courage to succeed." Mel Robbins.
Yep, and yours, which I really love from the book as well. You get one wild and precious life, so go live it in a way that makes you proud. Mel Robbins.
And for me, that's a multi-layered level.
So many layers to unpack.
Oh, huge. All right, let's get right into this. I'm so excited.
Right. So again, thanks for listening. And
thanks, Mel, for writing this book.
Absolutely.
Because it's changed our lives.
Yeah, pick and poke at the book for your own sakes, because I guarantee you walk away with something.
Yeah, I got mine off Amazon. It's in the bookstore. Audio has it. Audible has it.
Yeah,
so it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Chapter 1.
I'm ready for this. So chapter 1, just for the listeners, chapter 1 and 2, you and I are doing together.
Right.
So chapter 1, right off the hop, Mel opens up with a banger. She was just going for the juggler, and she was holding no punches. No fancy footwork. She hit you with a jab straight. And I was hooked. Right off the hop, I was hooked. In chapter 1, she talks about things that you can't control and things that are out of your control. To stop worrying about them and stop stressing about them, because they're out of your control anyways.
Yep. If you can't control it, stop giving it your energy.
That's right. We need to stop giving them so much energy and so much power. And that's essentially what we're doing. The things we can't control, our thoughts and our actions, we are giving it power when we give it energy.
And what I found is my peace begins right when control ends.
Yeah, that's right. And I found that wasting time on conversations in my head Go, going over, if this person says this, I'm going to say that.
And then I'll say this.
Yeah. And then if this person does this, I'm going to do that. And so you're wasting so much time and energy.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Going over things in your own head that hasn't even happened yet, but you have no control over, right? And so she talks about, as human beings, we want to feel in control. And this, in being in your own head, is one way to do that. You're trying to organize your thoughts and control the scenario in your head before it even happens. And I didn't realize that I did that all the time. It was just something I did before I understood the science behind it, before I read her book. And this was basically born out of that idea of just letting them, because you can't control it anyway. You have to let them. And it's brilliant. And it's a brilliant tool to have in your toolbox. I remember a few episodes back, we talked about loading your toolbox with tools and strategies to help you navigate through life. And yep, that's the same thing.
It is.
As letting them.
It is. Yes.
It's a tool.
And when people show up on who they really are, let them.
Yeah, let them.
And when they make choices you don't agree with, let them.
Yeah, I love it.
And when they don't show up the way you hope they'd show up, let them.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're dealing with difficult people, she mentions that in the book as well. When you're dealing with difficult people, and you start to spiral because they're dragging you into their scenario, let them.
Let them.
Just let them. Let them be out of control.
It's about releasing control over what isn't yours and redirecting your energy back to yourself, your reactions, your boundaries, and your peace of mind.
That's right. And in chapter 2, she goes on to say 2 words that knocked me off my feet. Let
me.
Let me.
Yeah.
That was the missing piece in so many of our lives.
Yeah.
Let me is the other side of the coin to let them. And it was such an important lesson for me to learn. Just to hear her say, the other side of this is let me. And I was like, oh my God, Mel, that's what I've been missing. Girl, that's what I've been missing. And it is, again, a superpower of a tool to have in your toolbox.
It's taking responsibility for yourself.
That's right.
And she explains that once you stop trying to manage other people, you create space to ask better questions.
That's right.
Now, what am I going to do?
And it's a good way for you to actually give yourself a chance to pause,
is.
Right? Yeah. Let me.
Let them do what they do, but let me decide how I respond. Because for years, I wanted to control my daughter's decisions, my parents' and siblings' actions, my neighbors' actions, my colleagues' actions, my wife's actions. And freedom comes when I stop managing others and start owning my own response. And that's the let me part.
Yeah. Let me allows you to respond and react accordingly, or not at all.
That's right.
And that was the piece that was missing for me, or not at all, because I'm a very reactive person.
Right.
And once I learned the let me, I was able to pause, and I was able to, instead of being reactive in a conversation, I was able to just be like, okay, let them have that moment. Yeah. They're upset. Let them have it.
Now, this doesn't mean that let them walk all over me.
Nope.
Or let them do something that's not safe.
Not at all.
But I have to decide, let me set boundaries. Let me walk away. Let me communicate clearly. Let me choose peace over control.
That's right.
Because the chapter really emphasizes personal power. It's not control others, but you always have control over your own responses.
Yeah, and in a way, it allows you to hold the cards that you want to play.
Yeah.
And it gives you your power back in that situation. And how we respond is so important. And I remember one of the very first things you told me, Jay, your intent and your impact, they are so important in the conversation. What you intended to say and how it impacts somebody are 2 different things.
That's right.
And so when I listened to that back again, I was like, that's exactly what you were talking about all those years ago.
It's interesting. I think back to one of my schools, and it was the job action year. It wasn't a strike, but it was definitely a job action. And staff they were going to be in school 15 minutes before the bell.
Okay, yeah.
Which is fine. It's a job action. They're not on strike. Kids are still in class. Kids are still learning. However, the staff at this particular school that I was overseeing, they would link arms in the parking lot at 15 minutes before the bell and march into the school. And I was inside, I'm just furious because all these parents are watching, all the kids are watching, and the staff would link arms and march in. And then 15 minutes after the school day would end, they would link arms in the foyer, united front, and march out. And if I had the let them theory, I just would have said, let them.
Yeah, let them.
This isn't your piss puddle, Brian.
And it isn't about you.
It's not about me.
No.
This is something that they need to do.
Yeah.
Now, I could have easily have held the door in the morning as they were coming in, linked arms, and said, welcome, glad you're here. Have a great day with your kids.
Yeah.
And then when they were going out, I could have held the door and said, hope you had a great day and we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh.
But I didn't. I didn't have to let them because I was too tied up in my own head of getting caught up. But I know that if I had read the book then, the let them theory, it would have been a lot smoother for me, and I would have slept better at night.
Yep.
I wouldn't have gained as much weight as I had gained because of all the donuts and things that I was eating that shouldn't have been eating.
Yeah.
But yeah. And after reading Mel's book and adopting the theory, when a buddy complains about his job, instead of me offering solutions to make things better, I'll let him complain.
Yep.
Let him complain and let me respond with empathy that I've heard him. And until he asks for my experience of possible solutions, I'll keep it to myself.
Yep.
Let him have his pity party. I'm not joining in. Let him. I'm not getting caught up in the turmoil of his world.
Yeah. Your job is to let him.
Let him do that. I'll support. I'll listen. But I'm not going to come to the rescue.
Yeah. So it's like a let me listen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You find peace not by changing others, but by choosing yourself.
That's right.
All right. Now, Jay, we're not going to cover every single chapter in the 20 chapter book, but we've done 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And we're going to skip to chapter 7.
That's correct.
Because that one, when grown-ups throw tantrums. And you said, I got that one.
Brian, I got this one.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I have had, in my notes, I have labeled it, this in quotations on my own, emotional maturity. Adults throw tantrums too. That's how I named it in my notes.
Okay.
All right. So in chapter 7, Mel says people's emotions and emotional reactions are not your responsibility to manage. And that is so true. It's not your problem. She points out we will always come last if we let other people's emotional immaturity hold power over us. Yeah, I know. I should have put that on the back of my shirt. She says that most adults are emotionally mature 8-year-olds just walking around in grown-up bodies. And so she has a part in chapter 7. She's talking to her therapist, and her therapist says, Mel, adults are no more mature than 8-year-olds. Anyhow, if you read the book, you'll know. And because of that, most adults were never taught how to manage and regulate their emotions. We just were never shown. Adults throw tantrums too. It's a constant reminder for myself, every bit as children do. We just think we're better at hiding it. That was straight from her book. Adults are 100% responsible for emotional and physical safety for their children's needs. When your children have emotions that they cannot handle and they cannot control, we need to, as caregivers, to be able to understand and help them navigate through those emotions. When your child is having an outburst, not just to silence them or to shut them up, but to help them walk. I know, bud. I know that's hard. Not getting that toy that you really want, that's devastating. I know, but it's going to be okay because this time you can't have it, but there's another time, and let's just focus on that. And so you have to try to help walk your child through it so they can logically understand you and you can reason with the child, not just get up off the floor. Let's go. Get in the car. So if we don't know how to handle our own outbursts, how can we help our children handle theirs? And that line in my show notes really hit me hard. If we cannot control our own outbursts as adults, how can we help our children through theirs?
Now, why did it hit hard?
Because of my next line.
Oh, okay.
And I hate to say that I have dropped the ball with my own kids on that. But there have been times where I couldn't regulate myself And I made that mistake where I had an outburst in front of my children and I looked like the 8-year-old. And only years and years and years later am I now figuring out emotional regularity as a 50-year-old and figuring out what it's like to not be that guy who has outbursts, who has road rage, who has absolute rage for no reason at all. I'm figuring that out. When they were kids, if they got too upset, and I put that in quotations, I didn't know how to handle that. And I didn't know how to be there for them when they got too upset. And I didn't know how to walk them through that. If they got, in quotations, too excited, I would get upset that they got too excited and I would try to bring them down. And I would bring down the excitement because I didn't know how to handle it like a right proper killjoy I was. And I'm not happy about that. I really am not happy about that. I know you guys can't see us, you listeners can't see my face, but I am not happy with myself all these years later. I didn't know how to respond and I didn't know how to walk with them through that. I was emotionally immature and it was my own trauma spilling out in these situations. Emotional maturity is tough and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of self-work. It takes having the knowledge and the understanding of your emotions and being aware that what it takes to navigate through them intelligently so that you can be of service for others, especially your children. So understand what it takes to do the work, understand what it takes to regulate yourself, and understand that you're being watched by your own children, and how you navigate is what will be taught to them, because emotional regulations often is learned behavior.
Whoa, that's pretty deep.
Thank you. It really bothers me that all these years later, it still bothers me that I fucked that up for so many years. Felt bad about it. Felt bad about it, Brian. But I had no idea.
Whoa.
I had no idea how to.
Look at all the years you have left that
Yep.
now you realize
Yep.
what you need to do different.
Yes.
But the number of people out there walking around who are still messing it up, but don't even realize they're messing it up.
That's correct. Yeah.
The number of adult temper tantrums I see
Yeah.
that are passive aggressive,
Yep.
that are gaslighting, that are silent treatments, that are still a form of tantrums.
That's correct.
That's there, regardless of the age.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize it.
That's
Well, I don't know
very
if they
true.
realize it, but the amount of hurt that they're instilling in others and what they're role modeling to other people.
That's correct. And that's probably what bothers me the most, is I was role modeling those outbursts without knowing how to handle them, but expecting something different. That's probably what bothers me the most.
Well, since the book, you can move forward on this,
yes.
right?
Yeah. The book literally gave me the tools to just learn how to understand myself and learn how that behavior is not okay.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how to change it.
Yeah.
How do we do this? And by letting me just take a moment.
Yeah. And pause.
Just take a moment. Okay. Why are we getting overwhelmed here?
There's
Just because they're getting excited.
Huge difference between reacting and responding.
That's right. Yeah. And so now, instead of being reactive and responding, now you get to be reflective and take a minute. Just, all right, why am I getting overwhelmed just because you're getting excited?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that bothering me? You're excited. You should be. Why is it bothering me that you're excited, or you're being too excited? I do believe the next chapter we're going to tackle is 10.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
How to make comparison your teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in chapter 10, she talks about this big idea. Comparison can either hurt you or grow you. It all depends on how you use it. And there's two types of comparison. There's the torture comparison, where you're comparing things you can't control, other people's talent, other people's background, other people's looks. And then there's the teacher comparison, comparing to learn what's possible and what to improve.
I remember episodes back, you said comparison is the thief of joy.
I know. I did. But then I read her book.
Yeah. I was going to say, because this goes against all of that.
It does. But comparison becomes powerful when you ask yourself, okay, what can I learn from this person instead of why am I not that person? Okay, first of all, life isn't fair. Yeah. It never will be. And you don't eliminate comparison. You upgrade it as a tool for growth. So I'm going to give you some examples.
Yeah, please.
Now, I fell into the comparison trap when I was in this physique comparison mindset.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
I do.
But as soon as I would see some online social media sites where men posted their physique, while working out,
Mhm.
I was really envious of their abs, their pecs, their back muscles,
Mhm.
their legs. And even though I knew that those pictures were filtered under the perfect lighting, the perfect angle, the perfect tan,
Yeah.
so it started to play on my mind, and I started to spiral. But as soon as I read Mel's book, The Let Them Theory, I started to read the descriptions of those guys to find out, okay, what's their workout regime look like? What does their nutrition intake look like?
Mhm.
How old are they? When did they start? What's their next steps? And then my spiraling stopped. So I said, let them show off,
Yeah.
let them, show their pictures. However, let me be really curious
Yeah.
to figure out, okay, what's behind that?
Yeah.
And I fell into the comparison trap when I saw some friends on social media post their trip photos of their adventure
Okay.
at their outings with other friends.
Mhm.
And I knew, and very similar, and Mel talks about something similar
She does.
in the book.
That's right.
But I felt immediately when I saw those pictures, like, why weren't the Joneses invited?
Oh, like this thing of rejection?
I know.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was, okay, no, let them. Let's learn from their experiences. Let me ask them some questions. Any restaurant recommendations or excursions you'd recommend? Use comparison as a teacher to learn more.
Great advice.
Just let them do their thing and let me respond in a way that's curious.
Mhm.
Another example is I co-teach a course at the Faculty of Education at the Ontario Tech University.
Mhm.
And one of the assignments is curriculum mapping that we have our students do. And we debated, should we show our students examples of previous year's work to our students for them to compare?
Okay.
Would they copy them? Would they duplicate them? Or would they see potential and think about how they would make their work even better?
Yeah, like an upgraded version.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah,
By
yeah.
learning
Yeah.
through somebody else's example. And
Right.
bingo,
Yeah.
bingo. Each year, the quality of those assignments get better
Mhm.
and better and better because students are using comparison as a teacher.
Yeah, like somebody's laid the blueprint already.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how can we build on this? How
Yeah.
can we even take it further?
That's right.
They didn't think about this. Let's incorporate this.
That's right.
And let's make it even better.
Mhm.
And even when we started this podcast,
Mhm.
a year and a half ago or
Yeah.
whenever it was,
Yeah.
well, 23 episodes ago. Yeah, 23 episodes ago.
Yeah.
I started to kind of internally spiral into this comparison trap because I thought, okay, well, let's listen to other podcasts to
Right.
get some ideas.
Yeah.
And then I heard their sound quality was amazing. Their content was engaging. They didn't say like I say that I'm working on.
Also, too, hold on. I gotta add there. Also, too, one other thing. They also knew how to talk into a microphone. You know how many episodes in it was before you and I stopped talking to each other and talked into a microphone?
I know.
Yeah, we're still working on that, people.
I know. That's why Jay is louder sometimes than me because I turn my head to look elsewhere. Okay. Anyway, and they sounded so professional and they have thousands of followers. And we could easily have given up.
Yes, we could have.
Immediately and said, the hell with this.
Yeah.
But we used it as comparison as our teacher to learn and think about the potential. And what quote that Mel talks about in the book that really resonated with me, that comparison isn't the problem, it's how we use it. And I guess my advice for the listeners would be is don't compare to feel less, compare to learn more.
Oh, I love that.
Turn comparison into curiosity, not criticism.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Brian, we usually have a back and forth on this show, but looks like chapter 11 is yours too.
It is. The truth no one told you about adult friendship. I loved this chapter of Mel's. Oh my gosh. It makes so much sense. And I wish somebody told me this when I became an adult. The truth.
Yeah, the truth.
Okay, so adult friendships don't just happen. They require intention. And she does a great job. I just wanted to give her credit for articulating how well she described the great scattering.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in the book, she talks about the friendship that kids have.
Mhm.
It's already planned for them.
Yeah.
There's school friendships, there's the sports, there's the clubs.
Yeah.
Even when for teenagers and young adults, there's the college or university friends that you already start to work. It's already planned for you.
Yeah, that's right.
there.
Yeah.
However, adulthood, after school is finished, the great scattering happens. People move, people change, and they drift apart.
That's right.
And she talks about this is normal because friendship is built on 3 pillars: proximity, seeing each other regularly, timing, aligning life stages, and energy, mutual connection. And real friendships take time, hundreds of hours to deepen a friendship. And this makes perfect sense. I thought I had lifetime friends at various stages of my life, and then they drifted apart. And I thought it was me.
Oh, yeah.
Not maintaining contact, not reaching out. I was too busy. But when Mel describes it in chapter 11, I realized that those friendships fade because proximity isn't there.
Yeah.
Timing isn't there.
That's right.
And energy isn't there.
So
naturally things start to fade.
Oh yeah.
Now I was close to some really close work friends, and then I retired and I moved 2 hours away. Well, I lived 2 hours away, and I didn't see them 7 hours a day.
That's right.
So proximity was gone. That's there.
I see
So
what you're
of course,
getting at.
those friendships are going to fade.
That's right. Yeah.
I was close to a neighbor buddy, and him and his wife and my wife, and we would cruise together with other friends. We hosted dinner parties. We worked on yard projects. We had poker nights together. We discussed a lot of personal shit together. He and his family moved away. Of course, the friendship is going to fade.
Yeah.
And it did. We do see each other a couple times a year in that friendship. We're very polite and friendly with each other, and we continue on discussing. But because proximity isn't there, the friendship faded. Because the timing isn't there, we're at different stages of our lives right now. It's not happening there. And the energy level, the mutual connection isn't there.
Yeah.
I was close to another buddy, and we traveled together. We had guys' weekends together, restaurant outings, but we've become very different in our own personal journey that we're on. And the friendship is still there, but it's not as strong as it was. And that's okay. Friendships fall into seasons. Friendships are there for a reason. Friendships are there for a season, or friendships are there for a lifetime. Now, you and I have been friends, good friends. We met, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago.
That's pretty accurate.
Through work. And we drifted in and out of different various circles. And then here we are, 23 episodes ago, later,
Bruce,
we're connected, spending hours together recording on various episodes. I mean, off the air, you know way more about me than my own brothers know about me.
Same.
And we text daily multiple times.
Yeah.
We FaceTime. We check in with each other today, I think you texted like 4 times and I can't wait to tonight's episode.
Oh my God.
You did anyway.
Yeah.
And
I was like a kid waiting for Christmas.
I know.
Yeah.
And we get vulnerable with these episode topics.
Yeah, that's right.
And I sincerely hope that this friendship that we have is a lifetime.
Yeah.
But I also need to be really realistic. And perhaps it's only for a season, Jay, as long as we're recording podcasts. Because as soon as we stop recording podcasts, the proximity isn't there. We're not texting daily about episodes. We're not meeting in the studio to record, seeing each other. We're not doing retake after retake. Who knows?
So you and I used to get together before we started doing this podcast, and we tried for once a month to get together for coffee. And there were times where it fell through.
Yeah, it did.
And you'd miss a couple of months in a row.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, you're right. The timing and the proximity with you, now you're retired and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This makes a lot of sense, actually.
So I guess the big takeaway is you let friendships evolve without taking it personally.
Yeah.
And a good quote and advice would be, adult friendships don't happen by accident. They happen on purpose. If it feels harder to make friends, it's not you. It's adulthood, because proximity may not be there, timing may not be there, and energy may not be there.
Well, nobody's matching my energy.
You can say that again. And if friendship feels harder as an adult, nothing's wrong. It's just normal. You just need to be more intentional. And if you want that friendship, three things have to happen: proximity, timing, and energy.
I love how you tied that all back in.
All right, Jay, now that I've done 2 chapters in a row, it's time to jump into chapter 14.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing. All right, so chapter 14. People only change when they feel like it. Trying to make someone change is like swimming upstream. You can't. No matter how hard you try, no matter how motivational you think you're being, you can't. No matter how many rah-rah speeches you give, you can't. No matter how many inspiring stories you give, you're as good as talking to a wall. Because if the person isn't ready to change, they're not going to. I have personally tried and failed over and over and over again to motivate someone to change that just wasn't ready to change. And it wasn't because I was saying the wrong things or I was doing the wrong things. They didn't want to change. They weren't ready to change. And so it's not about me. I had to let them be them. And that took a long time. Years and years later, I now know that. That was on them. They didn't change because they didn't want to. I have watched loved ones do the same with zero success.
Really?
Try to change somebody and you know they're not making a difference. You know they're not going to give the right speech or say the right thing. You know they're not going to make that change in that conversation. You know they're not going to. And they can't help it. You know that it's going to go a certain way, and it sure as hell does. It's because the person doesn't want to. And it's absolutely exhausting. It's so frustrating when the person won't change for you. And that's just the key. That's just it. They won't change for you. There's no ultimatum. There's no consequences until they want to change. Until they see the behavior, until they see what the problem is, they are not going to change. No matter what you put on the table. No one can motivate someone to change until the person wants to. I remember many episodes back now, I talked about the wanting to change. When I first started my therapy journey and I said what it came down to was wanting to change. I knew I didn't like the way things were going. I didn't know how to fix it, but I wanted it. I wanted to change and I was willing to do the hard work. And that's what it boils down to. The willingness and the want to do whatever it takes to change. That was my motivator. There wasn't a speech. There was an ultimatum. There was an ultimatum, but I wanted better. I wanted to be better and do better. That's what it came down to. I wanted my life to have a new direction, but I didn't know where I wanted to go. But I knew that I was done with all of what I was doing, which was literally running myself into a wall time and time and time again with the same behavior, the same mindset, and all of the wrong things. But I didn't know how to flip the script. So yeah, until you want to change, your life is going to stay exactly the way it is. I had to do the hard conversations, I had to dig deep, and I had to unpack some things that I didn't like. Mel says in her book, you can't magically motivate somebody to be better, to do better. You can't magically want their sobriety more than they want it. And it will just happen for them just because you want it so badly for them. It just doesn't work that way. They have to want it for themselves. The greatest motivators in the world can give the greatest speeches, but until they want it, they're not going to do it. End of story. And I love her line in the book that says, if you could magically make people do what you wanted them to do, you'd be practicing mind control, not motivation.
Well, if you remember back to our episode on addictions, the guys that we interviewed, and they only made the change when they were ready to make the change. Correct. And then we had Colin, who talked about losing a brother and a brother-in-law, and talking about
Yeah. And
that
he
they
was
didn't, but they
trying
weren't
to-
making, they were trying to
Yeah.
make that change.
Yeah. And he couldn't do
He
it.
couldn't do it.
No. And that's case in point.
Yeah.
That episode is case in point when he's saying, I was saying all the right things
Mhm.
and I was being supportive and I was doing all the right things
Mhm.
and still no change.
Yeah.
And because that is case in point. That is true. They weren't ready, so they didn't change,
Mhm.
no matter how much Colin wanted it.
Mhm.
That was a tough one, Brian. And I want to hit close to home. Change is hard, man.
You hate change.
I absolutely hate change. Yeah. But sometimes it's necessary.
If you want to progress.
Yeah. And if you want it, you have to be willing to put the work in. And that's the hard part. That's what makes change hard. Being scared of the unknown.
It is. Chapter 15, we're going to do together.
Yeah.
It's unlock the power of your influence.
Yeah.
Unlock the power of your influence.
Mm-hmm.
Now you talked about it. You can't change people.
Yep.
But you can influence them.
Correct.
And people don't change from pressure.
Mm-hmm.
They change from readiness.
Mm-hmm.
So live it louder than you say it, which just means, role model.
Yeah,
what
that's right.
the behavior you would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that
daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with enough people that I have influenced over the years.
I'm thinking your nutrition part.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Without naming names, there are at least a handful of people that come to mind that have made changes in their lives just from watching me eat and watching me eat. That sounds weird. Watching me eat lunch, but yeah, watching me eat lunch.
They're curious.
Yeah.
They see what you're eating and they want to know, like, why you do it. Like, tell me, how'd you make that?
Yeah.
So you share recipes.
Yeah.
Your role, instead of pressuring them to make change, for them to make change.
Yeah.
They are making the change and thinking it's them, but actually it's your influence.
Yeah, and it's coming from curiosity is what they're asking, is why they're asking. And we're constantly influenced by things around us every single day, whether it's Instagram, whether it's social media, that kind of stuff, or whether it's coworkers. We're constantly being influenced by things all around us. Sometimes you don't even know you're being influenced.
No.
Just you like the way that person carries themselves. You like the way that person speaks or acts around certain groups. Blah, blah, blah. Like you really are being influenced just by that person's behaviors and just by that person's personality. And that can also influence you in a negative way as well.
That's right.
I have done that as well. I have picked up negative tendencies
because it was role model to you.
And it was and so there are the negative side of things as well as the positive influence as well. So to be aware of when you're being influenced is an important thing.
And Mel in her book talks about, how can you have someone, lose weight if you're mowing it down on potato chips?
That's right.
Or how can you expect someone to not drink when you're pouring yourself a martini?
That's correct.
How can you expect someone to not be on their phone all the time when you've got your phone out?
That's right. And most people aren't even aware of their own surroundings, let alone their influence.
That's right.
So it's really hard to know when you're influencing someone. And making changes in your life based on influence or trying to influence somebody is how this podcast came about. So I've made changes in my life, big fucking changes in my life. And instead of just saying, well, I'm better now, that's the end of the story. You and I had conversations and I was like, there's guys out there like me that just need some help. How can I be of service? How can I help? How can I influence somebody to figure things out for themselves when I was trying to do the same? How can I be that?
And it goes back to what I've been advocating, that leadership's measured not by what you and I are doing, but what other people can do through our guidance and support.
That's right.
The number of guys who have DM'd us, sent us emails from all over the world.
Yeah,
saying this is what I'm dealing with. How what's my next step and how? So instead of giving them the answer, we'll work them through. Tell us more. What are your options? Where are you at? Have you thought about? And have them own it. Yeah.
Have you tried to explore
That's
this?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. But it's through, I think, through role modeling.
Correct.
It's that. Yeah. And people don't change through nagging or being controlled.
Yeah, negging never works.
No.
Never works.
No. Make your bed. Make your bed. Make your bed. No. Does that happen? No.
No, it just doesn't
No.
work. No.
Not at all. And it's interesting. There is a strategy that she talks about, and
Mhm.
it's one that we used when I worked in my career too, and it was the 5 whys.
Right, yeah.
And that what came about through the
Toyota
founder.
Yeah, that's right.
Where an issue would come into the company,
Mhm.
and he would tell his employees, okay, ask 5 whys.
Yeah.
So, well, this is going wrong. Okay, why?
Mm.
Well, because this doesn't work. Well, why? Well, because this connected to this isn't going smoothly. Why?
Mhm.
Well, because this is not the cause of, well, why?
Mhm.
So when he would advocate, when you got down to 5 whys,
Yeah.
you're at the root of the issue.
Yeah, your chances of solving the
That's
problem
right.
are so much higher.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The other thing that I took away from chapter 15 as well is the demonstration of bringing it to life.
Yes.
So being in the moment of the 5 whys.
Yeah.
So applying them to life. So you're having a problem, whether it's relationship or marriage or with your children or your own behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mhm.
Why am I responding this way?
Right.
Why am I reacting this way? Why is the behavior? Why am I being triggered
Mm-hmm.
by something that's bothering nobody else? Why? Asking the 5 whys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So later on in that chapter, she talks about an ABC loop.
I love the ABC loop.
Well, explain it to our listeners in terms that
Mm.
that they can understand if they haven't read the book yet,
Yeah.
because I know they'll want to go out and buy it.
Yeah, I love the ABC loop. And it spoke to me because of its simplicity. So the ABC loop goes like this. A is for apologize. B is for back off. C is for celebrate.
Break this down.
And I will elaborate. A is for apologize. Apologize and ask open-ended questions is how she says it in her book. So, my behavior was foul. Apologize. And then ask open-ended questions of how did I hurt? How did I offend you? How did I mess up there? However you want to word it. But you have to ask open-ended questions. How can I fix that? How can I be better so that I don't have to apologize for this again? How do I change my behavior? B is for back off. Back off and observe the behavior. So when somebody has apologized, you now back off and you observe the behavior. Is it have they changed? Have they made changes in the behavior, or are they still just apologized and was like, "Oh, I was forgiven. Oh, okay, cool, everything's good then," and they carry on as normal, with no behavior change.
Sometimes that backing off is a pause for them to reflect
That's correct.
on what's been said, though.
That's correct.
So there's that disconnect between, because they know they want to lose weight. They know they need to stop smoking. They know they need to stop drinking. They know they want the change. They just don't know how to get there.
And observing their behavior allows you to have the answers for them.
Right. So you backed off.
Yep. Observe the behavior. And C is celebrate progress while you continue to model the change. So modeling the behavior for someone as the example, like we talked about earlier in this segment for the influence, modeling the change, modeling the behavior, modeling the progress, modeling that is what is being observed by that person. So they've apologized. They're trying to change some behaviors, but they don't know how. And now you're modeling those behaviors. You're modeling the change. You're not beating them while they're down. You're modeling the change. You're letting them have it. And now you're letting them make that decision. You're letting them change the behavior. You're letting them see the celebration in the behavior.
And I think what's important in the book, that it's not something that happens overnight.
That's right.
This change could be half a year or a year.
Oh my God, yeah.
Of you still role modeling.
Yeah.
But not the nagging.
No.
Because that's not going to work.
No. And coming from someone who has made changes, it doesn't you're right. It doesn't happen overnight. And you could mess this up 10 times before you get it right. you could make mistakes over and over and over again before you actually get the behavior change correctly. So each time takes a little more and takes a little more, but it's being in those moments, in those livable moments when the behavior changes. That's when you celebrate. So when you're in a moment where you've acted a certain way and you're trying to change the behavior, and now the same scenario comes up, and instead of acting this way like you have in the past, you're now different. That's worth celebrating. That's what she means. Celebrate that behavior. Model that behavior by celebrating in that moment.
Little celebrations, even.
Yeah, that's the reward.
Good.
That's the reward. Okay, Brian. Moving on. I think the next one we're headed to is chapter 16, if I'm correct. Yes. All right. This one is what?
The more you rescue, the more they sink.
I remember this one.
Yeah. Powerful book. Powerful chapter. The big idea: when you constantly step in to fix, save, or rescue others, you don't help them. You actually weaken them.
Okay, if you don't mind, can I just ask you, what does quote unquote rescuing really look like for you?
Well, it's not always obvious. It shows up as giving advice that they didn't ask for. It could mean solving problems that they could handle themselves. It could mean stepping in too quickly when someone's struggling. Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that for you.
When it's not necessary.
When it's not necessary.
Yeah, okay.
Working at a school, I remember parents coming into the office and going to battle with me about a decision that I made regarding their child. And they became the voice of their child. I remember a staff member's husband calling me and blasting me for a decision I made to put his spouse in teaching a split grade in the portable. And in both cases, the parent and the husband's rescuing behavior taught the child and the wife that they couldn't handle this on their own. And what it did is it created a dependence instead of a growth opportunity. And not only did it drain my energy and build resentment against this family and this staff member, but it also prevented these people from developing confidence and resiliency and accountability. Now, I get that parents need to be advocates for their kids, but there's that fine line for a child to take responsibility and decide what they need to do instead of saying, well, it's not my fault.
Is that okay? Can I, if you don't mind, is that another way of saying critical thinking, or is that what that is? Is it like for the child to be able to make their own decisions, to think the thing through?
Well, their brain is still developing until they're in their early 20s.
Yeah, okay.
So that a parent needs to be the advocate. But the child needs to have some consequences
that's right.
for the behavior that they did.
So when you get a parent, just to elaborate, when you get a parent that comes into the office time and time and time again on a child's behalf for everything, what does that do to the kid? What does that do to the child? Does it stunt how they apply themselves at school? Or does it make a difference in their behavior?
Well, I can remember a parent every day bringing the child lunch in because the child forgot his lunch. And, forget. Just forget.
Yeah.
I guarantee you tomorrow he will remember to pick up the lunch off the counter, and it will save you from leaving work to get the lunch, to bring the lunch in because it was left on the counter.
Yeah.
That's there.
Instead of going into the backpack.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I can remember telling a parent that her daughter was manipulative. And great, this caused this parent to have a full-blown hissy fit. And okay, maybe I should have used the word, your child's persuasive or influential or strategic or tactful or convincing or resourceful. But instead I use the word manipulative.
Okay, yeah.
And it has a negative connotation. And if I had responded differently, perhaps the relationship could have been saved and the child would still be in the same class. And we could have worked together as a team in the best interest of the student.
Right.
But instead, I didn't think this through. I responded. I reacted, and her daughter ended up moving to another classroom. So it's really important. You can't constantly fix, save, and rescue others. They need to figure out how to do this on their own. And when I'm mentoring guys virtually, it's way too easy for me to fix it, to go into the fix it mode. And give suggestions. Oh, this is what you should do. Try this. Do this. Do this. Do this. And that isn't mentoring, or that isn't coaching. That's advising and consulting. I currently have a client in Oregon who is struggling with his weight, and his health is failing. And he's still working, and his desk job is extremely stressful. And when we connected, I follow through. I gave him fitness challenges to do daily. I gave him strategies to deal with work colleagues to make this job less stressful. I gave him books to read. I checked in with him daily. You know what? He gained weight. He was out of breath by the time he gets to the top of stairs. And now he's in the process of applying for a work leave through a doctor's certificate because it's way too stressful. And I was doing way more work.
Yeah, you were doing all the work.
All the work.
Yeah.
All the work. People only change when they are ready to change. Let them.
Yeah.
And let me decide how I should respond. Now, I know that in Mel's chapter, I think it's 17, she says how to provide support in the right way. And now, after reading that chapter, I am supporting the client in the right way. And I think we're going to turn it around thanks to the suggestions that Mel's listed in her book, that I don't have to go in the fix-it mode and feel that I need to give advice and to give suggestions, because I know he's not going to change until he is ready to see the change. Helping isn't always helping. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do is to step back and let them rise. So, Jay, if helping isn't always helping, as I laid out in chapter 16, how do you provide support in the right way, which leads right into chapter 17?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. So supporting others and then the right way. And it becomes very tricky for people because with that comes a lot of things that we don't understand. And what it looks like for many of us while trying to support loved ones is the balance between supporting them and rescuing them. And like you had touched on in chapter 16, parents were coming in and trying to rescue their children from having to talk to you or having to be the one to advocate for themselves and blah, blah, blah. So we're always in this rescue mode when we're trying to support people. And that made me go, when Mel said that in chapter 17, there's how do you find balance in supporting someone without rescuing them? And she warns that supporting someone without having conditions, boundaries, or limitations will always lead to resentment, regret, and enabling. And all three of those things I've seen firsthand. Without having clear conditions, boundaries, or limitations, you inevitably will hit what she calls rock bottom. So everybody thinks of rock bottom as just the person who you're trying to support. They have the rock bottom, but the person giving the support also has a rock bottom. Emotionally, physically, and financially. Everyone has a rock bottom. I'll say that again for our listeners. Even the person doing the supporting. You will eventually try everything under the sun until you hit your rock bottom. Then enter stage left. Regret, resentment, and removing yourself from the situation happens every time. Every time. That's why I said enter stage left. Resentment, come on in. Regret, come on in. And removing yourself from the situation. Oftentimes when you're supporting someone and you didn't give them the response that they're looking for, they will likely switch tactics. And by tactics, I mean they will switch topics, situations. And next thing you know, you're talking about a completely different topic than you were originally. A completely different situation than you were originally because you didn't give them the response that they wanted in the original scenario. And that is called the grab for attention. That is hand in hand with manipulation. The tactic that they're switching for, the grab for the attention, the manipulating the situation is always going back to you didn't set the boundary, you didn't set the clear limitation, and you didn't have the consequences in place. It just wasn't reinforced. So all the good intentions when you're supporting someone, you'll go round and round and round in circles. When you step back and you stop trying to rescue them and you give the person the chance to rescue themselves, that's when the behavior changes. That's when the real support can happen. Because until then, you're just in rescue mode. You're not in supporting mode. You're just in rescue mode. You're just in fix-it mode. And I have seen that firsthand. I have seen the person just hit the same wall over and over and over again, trying to rescue someone while they're thinking they're doing the best they can for that person. You're not. You're in rescue mode, and that person is manipulating that situation. So you're still stuck in rescue mode when you think you're supporting them. You've set up all the right stuff. You've done all the right things. You've set all the right courses in place, and they're not taking their end seriously. So you're stuck in rescue mode, not supportive mode, because you're doing the work. Of course it's rescue mode. Of course you're the one that's doing all the work. So there's a quote in the book by Dr. Waldinger, and he says, don't shield them from the consequences that they chose. If they want your support, they'll do what they need to do that's necessary to allow you to support them.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just rescuing them.
Now we need to preface this by saying too, if it's a safety issue,
well, yeah.
I mean, you're taking keys away from them if they're drunk and they're
correct
into the car,
and she mentions that
or if you have to call the police, or if
Yeah.
you have to,
there's self-harm stuff. And,
absolutely. Then you need to step in.
Yeah. But if it's just supporting a friend or a family member, and it's the same scenario over and over and over again, then you're in rescue mode, my friend. You're not supporting. You're the one doing all the work.
And it's friggin' exhausting.
It is friggin' exhausting. It is maddening. And then that's where the resentment comes from.
Yeah.
Why am I doing all the work for you?
That's right.
That's where the resentment comes from. That's why I say enter stage left. It's your show now. You're on. Resentment, the regret. I regret helping you. I regret helping you now because I'm the one that's constantly doing the work for years and years and years. You're just using my situation for me, for the better of you. Sorry, not for me, but for the betterment of you. That's why I regret helping you. And the resentment is real. The regret is real. And then you're removing yourself. I can't do this no more. You go be you. I have to let you be you. But for me, I have to let you be you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it comes back to full circle.
Right.
I have to let you be you. You have to let them. And I have to let me do what's best for me. You have to choose you. And I have a quote here that ties this whole thing up. It says, I have an unlimited budget for myself when it comes to my self-care. Being better for me is in turn the best way to be better for everyone else. The only way for me to support you is for you to do what you need to do for you.
Bingo.
Brian, this is the part where you would normally say, well, that's a wrap. in the only way Brian Jones could. Well, that's a wrap. In that raspy, that's a wrap.
Well, we want to thank Mel
for
writing the book, putting it all together, doing the research behind it. We covered 9 chapters out of the 20 that are there. We encourage you to pick up the book, listen to it, get your own copy and read it, reflect on it, decide what you need to do next, what you need to change, what you need to celebrate,
what you need to add to your toolbox.
Yes.
That's what I took. That was my greatest takeaway of this book.
You had some pretty serious topics in there, buddy.
I did. There was a lot of serious stuff, and I wasn't light and fluffy like I usually am. But that has just come with a lot of self-reflection. That has come with a lot of change, a lot of
healing.
A lot of healing, yeah. That has allowed me to be vulnerable in this instead of light and fluffy.
I know. You know what? And we've had to do some retapes, recording edits through this. Because the Band-Aid got pulled off some of those wounds, buddy. So we had to retape again. Yeah. But that's okay.
That is okay.
That's okay.
That's all a part of the healing process.
It is.
Yeah.
And it is.
So this book is very applicable to life. when you let them be them, you allow yourself to heal, learn, and grow. And I think that's where all of my show notes came from, is the chance that I gave myself to let them.
Yeah.
Just let them.
But let me is a really key.
Let me heal. Let me learn. Let me grow. Let me move forward. That's how it comes full circle.
Let me set boundaries.
Yeah. Oh God, I know. That took a long time. So the other side of the coin, let me, that's just as valuable as let them.
Right.
That's what we should have put on the back.
I know, we
should have been let me on the front,
Yeah,
let them on the back. Yeah. It's honestly, you can bring this full circle till the cows come home, because there's so much livable resources in one book.
Mhm.
And we're not being paid for this, so
we're not getting free books out of this at all.
It's just the amount of resources that came out of one book that has affected us in so many positive ways over the last year anyway, that I can look back and say, like, I have benefited from this chapter and that chapter, and I put this one to use, and I put that one in action. I can personally say that I have picked up this book and taken chapters in chunks at a time and applied them to my personal life. And that's where the advocacy for this book has come from. And that wraps up today's episode of Coffee and Conversations for Men.
Thanks for spending time with us. We truly appreciate it.
Be sure to check out the show notes for resources, links, and everything we've covered today.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this conversation, share it with a friend or leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Coffee and Conversations for Men. That's 4 as in the number 4. Got a topic you'd like us to explore? Reach out and let us know.
Just a quick reminder, we're not therapists, we're not counselors, we're not licensed professionals, just 2 longtime friends sharing real stories and lessons from our own lives.
So if you're facing challenges with your health, your mental well-being, or your relationships, we encourage you to seek guidance from qualified professionals.
We hope our conversation sparked reflection, encouraged growth, and helped you feel more connected.
Until next time, this is Jay
and Brian,
reminding you to grab your coffee
or your favorite drink
and keep the conversations going. To stay strong,
stay curious,
and stay connected.